and welcome to the Cedar Valley Today special Wartburg Decides 2016. I'm your host, Alyssa Kozak. Last night, the student body president and vice president candidates at Wartburg College were involved in a debate where students learned about what the candidates each had in mind for their running year. Today, we are going to dig deeper. Tyler Vogel, Hannah Creed, Alex Geisens, and Hannah Hagee will be joining me in discussing hard-hitting questions. So let's get started. Tyler Vogel and Hannah Creed are up first. Thank you guys for joining me this morning.
Thank you, Alyssa.
So a key point you discussed in last night's debate was fostering a relationship between Wartburg students and the administration. What steps do you see the students and administration specifically taking to achieve a more open and transparent relationship?
Yeah, I think that first starts with an important dialogue that's created. I believe issues just can first start with the administration and then move towards student senate that way, and then from student senate to the students that way. And I think the most important thing that we want to collaborate with that is building this communication that exec members have a meeting specifically planned once a month with all of the administration cabinet that way, like much as the academic ombudsperson, my position currently meets with Dean Ernsting, Dean of the faculty, and the administrative ombudsperson meets with Dean Kittle, but that could also transcend to maybe the PR director working with Graham Garner, and that sort of follow through like that.
Yeah, and I think it's really important that the college has strategic emphases that they come up with at the beginning of the year as like a cabinet and the administration. So I think it'd be really cool for us to align our goals with what they have so that we're all on the same page so nothing is too confusing and that kind of stuff.
So you guys both think it starts from the admissions or the administration and work its way down to the student body?
I think that can definitely go both ways. I think a really important concept in that our proposed plan of having upper-level senators meet with middle-level administration, the exec team having more of that follow-through, is also student issues are originated obviously with the students that way and then are shared both ways with the administration. So they understand what the student issues are, what student senate issues are, and then they can share their particular insights through their positions back to the students. And then that creates more of a buy-in from that particular senator or exec member so they have a special interest and create a relationship that way.
Mm-hmm. I think it's just important for both to have voices on each side so that there's no confusion, no conflicts. So we're not just going in and just complaining all the time to them, that we're going in with constructive criticism and feedback, and it's going both ways. So,
Why is this such a hot topic this year as opposed to last year's?
I think it isn't necessarily a new topic. I think maybe with the institutional need evaluation this year, that it's just a fresh and up-and-coming topic in everyone's minds. I think it's always been just kind of an issue with any sort of higher ed, is that students want to be on the same page as administration.
Okay. Last night you mentioned you are already working on an app that will inform students about campus events and news. Why do you think students will look at the app over the email they already received from the juice?
I think it's just convenience, really. I know that it's easy to get your email sent to your phone, but when you have the app, when you have it scheduled out, like you can get notifications of like 7:55, you have an event at 8 coming up. It's just convenient, more convenient that way.
I think something it kind of deletes a middleman of you having to look back in the juice. I know I always read the juice every morning, but very rarely, like when I roll out of bed, am I gonna see something, mark it on my calendar. It's just something that's going in the back of my mind. But if I already have this calendar like application already exists stating when things are, what the activity is, that just depletes and removes that middleman action that you have to do of marking in your own calendar.
But the schedule is already up on all the TVs around campus. So what's the difference? We already see it everywhere we go. We see it first thing we wake up in the morning when it comes out.
Yeah, so this would be personalized with you, so you can always, no matter where you go, you have it. And then second of all, it would also include activities that maybe aren't being proposed as easily. So like maybe a smaller organization, like I always say like Peace and Justice or Habitat for Humanity or something, or even Tri Beta is having an activity that night. And then those events are transcended on there just as equally as maybe a choir concert is or some sort of athletic event.
And I think there is a difference between the TVs, like going through the hallways and looking at the TVs, than having your phone always in your pocket constantly. And I think people look at their phones more than they look at the TVs around campus because they're not everywhere. I mean, it's really cool that we have these things, but I think having the convenience is really helpful.
Yeah, and it's definitely going to complement the other options that we have for news stations, not to replace anything by any means.
And have you looked at the analytics from like other mobile apps that Wartburg College has or any of the other colleges that already have this in place?
I have looked. Augustana has one I believe we've looked at that a little bit. We plan on looking at it more as this year turns out, but we have had communication with Graham Garner and working, in the most logistical reason of which this would take place is right now the website's getting revamped, so that would follow through with that, kind of getting some of the information on there. Also, that way, that's what Graham suggested. Second of all, there's been a lot of proposed some companies that actually come to Wartburg and say, hey, do you want to buy this app, and things like that. What might be a more fiscally responsible way is to have the senior student design that for the research for engineering science, for example. That's some of those app creations have been done in the past, and that'd be a really cool way for a student to give back that way. A really great idea.
And you could include like the design aspects of it and the production, all that kind of stuff too, with like journalism and communications, graphic design, art, that kind of stuff. So.
Okay. Now, everyone's connections was being stressed last night between you guys and having your student life connection and your admission connection, and Alex Geisens and Hannah Hagee with all their connections that they have with the info desk and admissions as well. But what is your involvement with the minority organizations such as the Black Student Union, International Club, and Asian Student Association?
Yeah, I've worked with iClub, BSU in the past. They're great organizations, and we plan to foster that more as Senate goes on. I think Molly and Sean's administration this year and Terry and Jacob's administration the prior, and even back to Zach and Laney, has been stepping stones each year to help foster and collaborate a more larger communication with a lot of the other larger organizations on campus. We have a special thing in Senate with liaison. We'd like to see more done with that, where we have specific representatives come in and talk about the issues during the student Senate meeting. Definitely, it would be more of a collaborative approach of working with large events and supporting each other on their own events, such as Culture Week and stuff like that. And
you mentioned that those are more minor organizations, but those are actually the VSU Alliance, the ones that have the offices in the hub, are actually considered the Big Six. So I think more minor organizations that I have experience with are like being a general member of Students for Peace and Justice and then becoming the president of it and revamping it. So I think I've seen the experience that small organizations struggle with, and I think it's really important to have that aspect of what bigger organizations can do to help them, especially with Senate and the money that we get from them. Like, we wouldn't exist without them. And also with BSU, I was, through Students for Peace and Justice, I was part of the involvement fair that they did last year, but I was unable to do it this year. But it's just really cool to work with them and just spread awareness of like social injustice, which is something we're really passionate about in Students for Peace and Justice. And also, I've kind of become a voice for students. I think I'm a pretty recognizable face in like injustice around campus and that kind of stuff. So last year, the president and vice president actually contacted me from iClub wanting to talk to me about the break housing policy. So I've just been an advocate for all the smaller voices on campus. So I think that's an advantage that Tyler and I have. So.
Yeah, and I think just to finish up here, I think a really awesome experience that we have as Student Senate is a lot of students understand that for especially our size of college, a lot of a student government is just more of a student council where issues are brought up, which is important. But with Senate, we actually have these funds and help out a lot of small organizations that, like Hannah said, would not be around or would not be able to do the things that they would be able to do without that funding. I think that is one of our major roles in student government, is to help foster and make sure those organizations thrive.
Okay. Lastly, if you do not win this election, how do you see yourselves continuing to serve the Wartburg student body? Because I know in the past, people who haven't won have just dropped off the face of the earth.
Yeah, it's definitely rough that way, when you lose something like that. But I can I will be a member of Senate for sure. That's been something I've been involved in my freshman year, and I will for sure continue with that. Executive positions, my main other organization I'm involved in is ambassadors. Maybe a future there, but.
I think I would continue to be a part of Senate, maybe even apply for one of the selected positions like the PR intern or administrative ombudsperson, because with my experience with student life, the Student Relations Committee, Student Life Institutional Committee, I think I have a really good input that I could give there, and just being involved in Senate would be awesome. And then of course I'll still be a general member of all the other organizations I'm a part of, like iClub, SPJ, so I think we wouldn't fall off the face of the earth, and I think we would continue to be involved on campus. So.
Okay, and how would you guys be a good example of a leader if you guys do win?
Do you want to take this one? Or?
Yeah. I think I'm a student voice now, and I'm not going to plan on changing that if I become elected as vice president. I'm not going to change that if I'm not elected. And I think it's just really important to continue our drive that we've already started and we've had since freshman year, and just continuing that, not waiting until we become elected to start focusing on this kind of stuff. I think it's important that we've had a past of being vocal and being active on campus, so I think it's just really important that we continue that.
Yeah, I think
Real quick, Tyler,
Yeah,
we
sure.
have 15 seconds
Okay.
left.
Yeah, I just think Hannah and I have both done a really good job of promoting Wartburg and showing how much we really care, and that will continue regardless of our election status that way, and it will continue until the end of it when we graduate.
Yep.
So,
All right. Well, thank you guys.
Thank you.
thank you, Alyssa.